This question occurred to me: how much trust is needed to be in satsang? We won't even call it devotion, although devotion is nothing but, you see, love and trust together. But how much trust is enough? Let's say if you were you in Bangalore and you're trying to come to the Satsang hall. Okay. This one is not working.
This is also working. Which one you want?
So how much trust is needed to be in satsang? At least that much to listen to what I'm saying. Just to elaborate on that, you're saying that if you were new to Bangalore and you wanted to come to the satsang hall, and you met a Sangha member who says, take the straight, keep going straight and take the second right. You see? Now you're walking along, but your mind is saying, no, I feel like it's the second left. I feel like it may be wrong. That one has been to the satsang hall and you have no reason to doubt his or her integrity or honesty, and they have no motivation to fool you anyway. They think go straight and take the second right. But the mind goes, no, maybe I should take the second left. I feel like this is what I understood. So if you come to satsang, and this could be with any master teacher, so obviously after you've been there for a while, you must have enough trust to see that this one is speaking from direct insight. You see? So as in a simpler way of saying, is where you want to be. You see? This one who we are listening to is where we want to be, and he's giving us direction, or she is giving us direction as to how to get there. You see? But the mind will keep saying, but you take this detour, you take this way. You see? So that much trust is needed, that we listen to this voice which is speaking in satsang. And again, I'm not talking about Ananta-Satsang, I'm speaking of any satsang that you may go to, you see, regularly, not just satsang that you're checking out, or doing due diligence on. But if you've decided this is the place for me to be, then you must trust that voice more than you trust your mind to point to where we want to go. You see, that much is enough. You see, because otherwise I could be saying, who is aware of your being? You see, but you could be asking, why did the chicken cross the road? You know, thinking like, that's the most Zen question that will get me to the truth. You see. So this development of trust, this coming to at least that much trust that we trust this voice which is speaking in Satsang more than what our mind is telling us, at least about the truth, about the self. Otherwise we can have, and we have had all the pointers, all the ways, you see, all the means to come to this recognition have been made available. You see. But sometimes we don't really recognize that the mind comes in and makes XYZ out of ABC. You see. So that much trust is needed, that we trust this voice of your own intuitive presence which is speaking through this body at the moment more than we trust our mind, our reasoning, our intellect to show us the way to this truth. Otherwise, you will tire yourself in this tennis match. What is a tennis match? You have two voices, isn't it? You're hearing this voice in Satsang, you're hearing your own intuitive presence, which is the same, and you're hearing the voice of the mind. Now, if you trust both equally, you see, if you're a neutral watching a Rafael Nadal and a Roger Federer match, then you're not picking, you're just following both, and you soon have a crick in your neck or something because you're watching both sides, and sometimes you're supporting this, sometimes you're supporting that. It's going to be all mixed up. So at least as far as coming to this self-discovery, self-realization is concerned, we must learn to follow what is being shown, because it's a very direct way. Get to Satsang, go straight, take the second right. That's it. And the mind will say, okay, maybe I explore a bit this here, over here maybe a shortcut, maybe this will work better. You see? And I've seen mostly these are just distractions. You see? And we are not even consistent with them. They only come, like yesterday I was saying that we may not feel like doing the inquiry at all. You see? But when the question is asked, who is aware of your being, then suddenly something will come and say, no, but for me, who am I works better. You see? So this is just very well-dressed distractions. Very well-dressed distractions. You see? And I'm not saying that who is aware of being is a better question than who am I. I'm saying just for the moment as the pointing is being shared, you see, it will make these distractions come up and say, okay, but my way is this one, my way is that one. If your way was working so well, then you would not feel so lost. So don't start trusting my way just when it's crunch time. So this much trust is needed, and the point is not to make any of you feel guilty or unworthy or something like that. It's just pointing out that the mind plays these tricks so that you can be vigilant towards them. You can spot them as tricks. question? Dear Father, please take this question. During meditation, the meditator is lost. The purpose of meditation is lost, and only I exist, without the center to call as I. If this is what I really am, then why is this state not there in the waking state as I type this message, or when I am not meditating? So, how do you know it is lost? Or how do you know that this state, which is empty of meditator, meditation, all other conclusions, inferences that you can make about yourself, how do you know that any of that is here right now? Where is the meditator? You see, if this is what I really am, then why is this state not there? Firstly, you are not a state. You see? This is the second part, no? If we speak of the second condition, if you get attached or enamored by any experience or state, then know that that is not the truth. You see? All of this goes in the sleep state also. All of this goes in the sleep state also, isn't it? So then what must you do? You must just sleep all day? Is that the best advice you can get in Satsang? No. You see? So it is not about coming to any particular state, but to recognize that whatever the state might be, whatever the perceptions might be, you see, the self remains unchanged. To discover that which is present even in sleep state, during the waking state, is self-recognition. To discover that which is present even in sleep state, you see, in the waking state, is self-recognition. You see? So what is that which is here? You see? What is that which was there in that meditative state? Even if the meditative state is samadhi, turiya, nirvikalpa samadhi, whatever fancy things we might be experiencing. You see? If the truth came and went with that particular state, then that truth is not worthwhile. You see? If freedom meant to come to only one particular state, then that is not very free. You see, freedom means all states can come and go, but I remain as I am. I remain untouched. You see? So, and in this case, that particular meditator which was lost, it was just seeming that it was never there actually, isn't it? If you can produce a meditator now, then you would have done something very amazing, because this one just does not exist. If this is what I am really, then why is this state not there in the waking state, you say, as I type this message, or when I am not meditating? You see? Yes, in meditation you will experience various states, and those states are helpful sometimes to show you that which remains unchanged during all states. But if you make that into a new state that you have to aspire to, you see, then you are falling into the second condition which I am talking about. You see, you are letting an experience enamor you. You are getting attached to some perception or lack of perception, some objective presence or absence. So, your discovery of the truth will not be the discovery of a special state. You will see that which is always there. What is here? So if you're not getting enamored with any concept, any inference, any reasoning, and you're not getting enamored with any perception or lack of perception, and you're not burdening the truth with any expectation. There is no expectation from this except that it is true. Then a simple inquiry like, who is aware of my being? Has to reveal what you are looking for. If what you're looking for is just the truth for truth's sake, unburdened with any other benefit. Then you say, Father, how do you experience the saying of the sages, I am in everybody as? Again the same traps. The same traps, and these become our spiritual expectations. So do you trust me enough to forget about it? I'm not saying it is not true or anything. I'm just saying that it is not true the way we think it is. And we never think the way it is. So I'm saying empty of all expectations, all burdens that the truth must bring, and you're exposing an expectation. You're saying that over the sages are saying that I am in everybody, I see myself as all. So what you're really saying is that till I see that, till then I can't say that I'm free. You see, and what are we doing in that? We are again burdening this simple insight with expectation. We may not realize that this is what we are doing. If you try to see yourself in everybody, you cannot do it. You see, at best you will come up with some very fancy inferences and words. You see, but it will never become a true saying. If you burden yourself first with the identity of being this one, and then that one trying to see themselves in everything and everybody, it just cannot happen. You see. When you are empty of this identity, then automatically you are all there is. You see? God putting on the mask of the person, then trying to be God, cannot happen. When the mask is dropped, God alone is. God putting on the mask of the person and then picking up the best, well-dressed, most spiritual concepts is not the truth. And my feeling is never, and most of you know this expression, My feeling is never to sound harsh or tough or something like that, but sometimes I have to shake you out of these strong spiritual conditions, you see. So when I say what do you really want, many of you now can say truth for truth's sake, but even in that there can be these hidden benchmarks and expectations. You see? That how is life for a sage? You see, why are we asking how is life for a sage? Huh? Is it just curiosity? No, because we want that. You see, we want to burden the truth which is being pointed to with these benchmarks, with these expectations. You see? And we want to check, is it true for me yet? You see? None of these will ever be true for a me. And for truth, they are always true. So, you are being pointed very directly in Satsang through these simple pointers to that which is your absolute truth, to that which is beyond any greater or lesser. But the mind will still look for the perks, the benefits. So the question is, are you aware of your being? And this you which is aware of your being, what can be said about that? And how is this really known that it is I that is aware of my being? In this question, don't make anything a pit stop. No experience, no state, no concept, no conclusion. Who is aware of your being? Is it you? What is the basis of that yes? Is it? What is the basis of that yes? That basis is self-knowledge. And for the mind, it cannot fathom this. So your thinking about it will not help. Also, you cannot perceive it. So your anchoring for a perception will not help. Who is aware of my being?
feels so simple, but then it's saying it can't be like that. Because when I'm not perceiving anything and I'm not thinking anything, then there isn't anything excepting I mean,
is that an inference or a seeing?
No, it's not an inference.
You say when I don't need to think anything, I
Yeah.
don't need to perceive anything, there is really nothing left except I. Now, so is it 2 plus 2 equals 4? It is not that. You see? Then what is it? What enables us to say that? What is the basis of that statement? If it is not an inference or a perception.
Because what? I mean, it's just known that it's myself.
Yes.
And
How is it known?
It knows itself, and I don't need. Which.
How does it know itself?
Because it doesn't have to have a way of knowing itself.
Then how can it know?
Because I already don't have any perception of it. I mean, I don't have any perception of it.
Yeah.
I don't have any intelligence of
Yeah.
it. I mean, nothing is needed, and it's known. I'm known, not me and knowing.
Yeah.
There's only this
Yeah.
thing, and it's not like a personal self, the mind.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not that one.
Yeah.
And there isn't. I mean, then it's me who.
Does it
I
need
don't know, I
any
can explain
remembering?
No.
Can it be forgotten?
No. You can't be distracted either.
Can't be distracted, can't be forgotten, nothing can happen to it. Is it? How does it help me?
It can't. It doesn't help me because at that moment there is no me, only to you.
And at which moment is there one?
When some appearance will come. And
To
some
make
void
one,
will
let's
come.
see, what appearance has to come to make a me?
No. I'm saying when an appearance comes, I mean the appearance of the. When I imagine myself, if an appearance.
If your eyes are closed and there is no appearance, you can't conjure up a me? Me
Yes,
idea or
yeah,
me belief?
but the
you can.
conjuring up is not because my eyes are open or closed.
Yeah, that's what
The
I'm saying.
conjuring up is just happening as.
As?
No, I'm going to experiment with this because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it's nothing to do with my eyes open or
Yes,
closed.
it
It's
needs a
nothing to do
notion,
with what
it
I
needs a
hear.
belief,
Yeah.
it needs an idea.
When we ask the question, who is aware of the being?
Who is aware of it? Yes.
In me, there is a condition that there is something to be aware of, to know the one who is aware. I mean,
That's a strange condition. Is it? That's a strange condition, isn't it? To know what sight is. Is it? Do you need to always have an object? Is it? Eyes are closed, you are still seeing darkness. Is it? So, when there is sight, when there is a perception of an object, both perception and object are known. Now, when you are aware of being, you see, then you are aware being, you see, but you are also aware of aware, isn't it? We are not just making up the aware part. You see, we are aware of aware. You see, and we can't say we there, but it's just language. Aware is aware of itself. Awareness is aware of itself. You see? Or I am aware of I. Isn't it? You see? Like, okay, let me try and put it in a simpler way. You say you're sitting on a couch. You know what sitting is and couch is, no? You can't just say because there is couch, that's why I know sitting. Same way when you are aware of being, there's an off part which is being. You're aware of it, but you're also aware that you are aware. You see, you're not saying I'm smelling being. You're not saying I'm tasting being. You're saying I'm aware of being. If it was not clear what that aware was, then you could substitute it for any verb. Isn't it? You could replace this, which is not a verb, with a verb and say, I'm sitting on being or standing on being. But you're saying, no, I'm not sitting on being, I'm not smelling being, I'm not tasting being. It's not even an object of my sight. I'm just aware of it. You see, so how we say aware? Because there is awareness of awareness. You see? But it is non-qualitative. It has no quality. It is only aware of itself in its most primal aspect in this way, empty of all quality. You see? Even being has a quality of presence.
So when the requirement for this inquiry is for something else. Right?
It is just for that being itself, playing as if it is a limited entity. You see? To recognize its own source. To the source nothing has ever happened. You see? But that source playing as the being, the I amness itself, takes itself to be something. I am something. I am man, I am person, I am spiritual. All these ideas. But when I am itself checks on its own source, you see, it sees that it is nothing but awareness itself. It is not separate from its own source. So the satsang is not needed for awareness. You see, it is for just, in a way it is, but that aspect of it which is playing as the manifest being, which has the potential to take itself to be something limited. So then it shakes out itself out of this limitation through pointing itself to its own source. So that's why Guruji said satsang is rehab. Rehab for whom? For God. By whom? By God Himself. It's very strange things to say, and those who may not understand may misunderstand. So, but God playing this game of delusion and then stepping out of this delusion is what satsang is.
Even when we call that thing false,
Yes.
there is an assumption, there is something as false.
Yes.
That's
In the end, there is no true, false, no nothing, no opposites, no distinctions. That's why it's Advaita, no duality. There are no two left. Father, the question, who is aware of my being? The question takes me to that place where there are no answers. The question is forgotten. I exist, but you're still going as a passenger, you see. Takes me to that place. Who has come to that place? Are you speaking of your attention as yourself? Just watch for this also. Are you just speaking of your attention as yourself? Like attention going from place to place is saying that I go from place to place. You see? So notice this also. I exist as an awareness, but strangely, I am untouched awareness. I am awareness, but I am not aware of any objects as such. You see? Yes. But you are aware that you are aware. That's why you say I am aware. Or you can say I am untouched awareness. Good. Then, so far I am understanding that every time I am present is really just a state. Bless me, Father, so I see the truth clearly and irrevocably. You see, but the question is, who is aware of this being? We are not saying what state comes or doesn't come, is I amness a state or not. The question is, who is aware of this being? And once you answer that, then I may have some follow-up question. But very important to remember what the question is. Who is aware of this being? We are not speaking of anything after being. After being is there, then a lot of states can come and go within the being. But for the moment, we are unconcerned with any state. You see? But only concerned with that which is aware of this being. Father, please ask the follow-up questions. Want to know if the mind is playing tricks or truth's gates have been knocked. Expectation. Throw it away. As you present your answer, some question may come. And you're hearing also as some are presenting the answer. Some follow-up questions are coming. You see, this one. You see? Tell me, who is the one who wants to know if the mind is playing tricks? Is it not the thief dressed up as the policeman? One says, Father, not able to contemplate on this question as my attention is getting caught up in negative energy in the body. Is there any advice? If it's just for the moment that we are not able to contemplate this question, who is aware of my being, then it's okay, because many times this sort of resistance will play out, attention will go on some perception or the other. And if it's for the moment, it's okay. If it's just for today, it's okay. But if you feel like this is a constant, we are never able to focus on this type of question or this inquiry. So maybe for those it will be helpful to do some chanting, any type of sadhana like that. It could even be just keep your attention on your breath for a few minutes and see if it can stay there. Or just some Ram chanting every day is good. But I am not prescribing it to anyone. If you feel like these conditions, these simple pointers are not, we can't really stay with them because our mind is too active, attention is too much in these things, and I get caught up in these kind of things very fast, then it's not a bad idea to spend some time just in a simple practice like chanting or staying with your breath. But if it's just for today, just for the moment, then it's fine. But if you find yourself never able to really ask yourself this question, like the question could be, am I aware now, or who is aware of my being? Ah, okay. Can you just Garima's lunch must be lying here somewhere. So the driver must have come to collect it.
Okay.
Sita want to come? She can come. Okay, my dear, I'll mute while you speak so that we can hear you better then.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. Ah, my heart beats again. This time I really want to use my chance, so I want to give myself a time little bit.
Okay, my dear, I have to just step out for a moment so you can take your time, just relax, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Ah, okay.
Okay, my dear. Sorry, I had to give my driver something.
Thank you so much. As you see, I couldn't go to Sahaja. My visa application is refused, and it's just beats me just so powerfully, actually, and it was just so hard. And it was, I really don't know what to say now, but with this refusement, I had the time to check within. And I realized that there is something within me. It's not even sleeping. It's kind of dead. You know, it's free, some freeness, something doesn't move, and I even couldn't call it as, you know, sleepiness or heaviness. It's just like that within me. It doesn't move, and I really don't know. I cannot do anything for, you know, go out from this state. I really see that I need Guru's grace to take me out of this state, and because of this, I really want to go to Sahaja too much, because I know that I need Guru's grace, and I couldn't do this. I couldn't even go to Sahaja. And you are my only chance now. So just please help me. Please help me. I really need your help.
Okay, my dear. Yes. So let me be first clear about the question. Are you saying that You need my help to go to Sahaja, or you need my help to look at things as they are now? You have to unmute first, my dear. We didn't hear anything so far. Okay, I'm going to try and unmute you.
Yes. Yes. Of course, I want to go to Sahaja, but in my now it's like emergency, you know. If you don't help me, I couldn't do this. And even go to Sahaja, I need your help. And even get out of this state, I need your help. And yes, I need your help, because I stay at home and I couldn't do anything here right now. I really could not do anything.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying. So, one thing we can start with is that there's an idea that I must get the Guru's grace or Sadguru's grace to help me. But the greatest thing about the Guru's grace is that it is always there. You see? It is always there. Now, that's why we say Guru Kripa Kevalam, which means Master's grace is all there is, or always is. Is it? Only is. Is it? So, if there's an idea that only good things are Guru's grace and seemingly bad things are not Guru's grace, then that Kevalam, which means only is, takes that away. So, our trust in the Master's grace, and somehow this satsang has become very much about trust again, implies that everything that is happening is the Master's grace. You see? So, and to accept Master's grace as best, you see, because we can have an idea about this is better for me, this is worse for me, but how do we really know? You see, is our basis for knowing really valid? Have we really ever known what has been better for us? You see, we don't know. You see? So this acceptance that everything is the Master's grace also means that if we still have the concept of better and worse, then we accept that what is happening is my Master's grace and therefore it is the best. So, of course, when these strong events seem to happen, or seemingly strong events happen, then it can feel like, but there's no way that this was also Guruji's grace. You see? There's no way that my not going to Sahaja could also be Guruji's grace. You see? But it is, because only His grace is. You see? So if we keep aside our notions of I know better what is better for me, you see, and we trust the Master's grace, then life becomes very, very simple. Now, by the way, this doesn't mean that we decide, okay, now I'm just going to sit, like actively do the non-doing. Many times when we hear everything is Master's grace, then we feel like, oh, I must actively become the non-doer or something like that. Let me never apply to Sahaja again. If it is Guruji's grace, then he will call me or something. But this is not what I'm saying. See? I'm saying that let the applying and not applying also unfold naturally with His grace. You see? May every step now unfold in His grace. You see? And in a way, this is what Sahaja means. Like Sahaja is not just a place. Sahaja means naturalness, openness, effortlessness. So to come to Sahaja is to come to your naturalness, openness, acceptance. You see? So firstly, we must drop this idea that I need to have Master's grace, because what you have already is that. Because every single moment of this waking state is only in the light of this Master, this Sadguru, which is consciousness itself. You see? So let go of any ideas about you knowing what is better for you or worse for you or what you need or what you don't need. You see? Because it is only consciousness which is playing this game with itself. And it doesn't need any personal intervention. The God does not need the intervention of the mind to tell it what to do. Or this is better or this is worse. You see? And the universe is not messing up its recipe, you see. It's not putting too much salt or sugar. It knows exactly what is being cooked. So don't worry about that. Now you say that now in this particular state you are just like in this debilitation and you can't move and no, even your daily activities are not happening. You see? So how do you know that's a bad thing? Because if you went to a very special spiritual place and this is exactly what happened, where you felt like you can't move, then you may even call it samadhi or something. You see? So what is, and even what is appearing is never really the trouble. It's our interpretation and how we take it to be which becomes troublesome. You see? If somebody came and said to you that this is a beautiful meditative experience that you're having, of course your mind will fight back and say, of course not, this is so bad, this kind of thing. But suppose somebody who is a credible source came and said that this is very good, this is exactly what needs to happen to you, you see, then you may even celebrate that. You see? And the fact is what? The fact is that everything is exactly how it is supposed to be. You see? Let's hear something more.
Yes, what you are saying is true. I also just try to figure out in my mind too much why I couldn't go, what is the problem, I cannot do this, and I just crashed in all of these things. And I see the grace that this application reveals, because I never felt this punch in my life so strong, you know. I never cry like this. I never beaten like this before, and it must be grace, you know, because it was just too strong. And but yeah, something doesn't want to accept this, because I know the power of physical presence of Guruji. I know this power, so yeah, I understand myself in this too. And yeah, it's like this. I don't know what to say more. Yeah, I couldn't accept, yes.
So it is this intellect, you see, which is able to make distinctions, is able to distinguish and say, this is good for me, this is bad for me, you see. So, empty of this intellect, empty of these distinctions, everything is just exactly how it is supposed to be. And of course all of us say this when we haven't been punched, as you said. You see, it's very easy for everyone to be super accepting and open when it's straightforward, it's easy. You see? But true acceptance is when we feel like we have been slapped by life. You see? Like I notice this also often, that many times in satsang we say, Father, burn everything, burn every resistance we may have, burn everything. You see? But actually what we are expecting is that once we've made this prayer, then when the burning comes, it will not feel like burning anymore. You see, like, burn everything, burn everything. You see, and we made the prayer, but when the actual burning comes, when the actual it is burning, then we feel like, but I never asked for this. You see? Because unless that resistance is there, it would not feel like burning in the first place. You see? So we feel like when in our outer surrender, you see, we feel like, okay, now I will avoid myself getting burnt by making this prayer burn everything. So when the burning actually comes, I feel like, but now I'm really feeling smashed, you see, feeling really headstrong, you see. So, but like Guruji says, everything is an answered prayer. You see. Everything is an answered prayer. So this prayer must be there somewhere, that push everything that you can throw at me, make everything burn. You see? And it is never made in this way, that make everything burn except that. You see? So, yes. So when this burning comes, then we see what can really push our buttons. Because you say yourself that you have never felt this sort of rejection, never felt this sort of disapproval, you see. So it is very easy to talk about acceptance and openness and trust when things are going my way. When things are not going my way, that is when the rubber hits the road. You see. It is said, I used to say this more often actually. It's an American saying, I think, where they say, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. But in satsang it is, if you can't take the heat, stay in the kitchen. What is burning except our conditions, except our ego? What else can burn? So you're getting beautiful darshan of Guruji in this way. Say something.
Yes, and also with this powerful experience, for a while I just have satori, like maybe I don't exist in a way that I take myself as person, and just it's like satori, maybe I don't exist, but I cannot catch it, you know, it just come and goes. And what I want to take my chance today is this. You know, I always come with you and with Guruji with the place of silence and pure awareness, but I never see clearly that what I take myself to be as person, it doesn't exist really. I didn't see this clearly, and it always, you know, feel the scream. And yes, I somehow see that I don't exist. I want to clear this up, because as I said, yeah, it's just feel the screen, and maybe it's time for me to see this. And yes.
So, one of the biggest tricks of the mind, the biggest con of the mind, is to convince consciousness or beingness that it is personal. You see? To convince existence itself that that existence is personal. The sense of existence, the sense of being, the presence of being, takes itself to be something limited. You see? So when we say that I do not exist, we are talking about this I, this limited I. You see? That we take ourselves to be personal, egoistic. You see? That one just doesn't exist. And that one is very simple to check. You see? If you check right now, you can see that there is no such one. You see? Try to find the one who wants something. I say also that if you feel so convinced that you are the body and that body makes you something, you see, then check, what is it that you're looking for? You're looking for freedom. What does that have to do with the body? The body doesn't want freedom, the body is fine. You see? So this one that wants freedom, that wants security, that wants to go somewhere or not go somewhere, who is that one? You cannot produce this one because it doesn't exist. You see? In fact, many years ago, I said that I'll give $1,000 to anyone who can produce the person. And nobody has claimed that yet, because this person is never found. That which we take ourselves to be, the one with likes and dislikes, desires and aversions, that one is never there. It just doesn't exist. So, this is the first part. So, the false one doesn't exist. Then, how do I come to that which does exist, which is the only existence there is? So instead of, my recommendation always is, instead of trying to go looking for this being, this consciousness, you see, try to stop being. Can you stop being? Don't be for a moment. And you realize that that is not possible. There is a light, there is a presence, there is a sense of I amness, which just is naturally. But this sense of being is not personal, even though the mind will try to convince you that it is. This is the only game it has anyway. So this being is the discovery of consciousness or beingness. So you, as the limited one, with all those attributes, with all those belief systems, with all those ideas of right and wrong, don't exist. You as existence itself is all that exists. You as being is all there is in this manifest creation, this beingness. So one other tip I have for everyone is that this being, the mind will try to convince you that it is contained inside this body. But investigate that. Notice that these sensations that we call the body are just another set of perceptions or sensations within the being itself. Just like this voice that you're hearing is another sensation within your being. You see, so everything that is perceived is just perceptions and sensations within your being. Naturally, nothing is making separation between body and outside. It is all, everything manifest is within this being. And don't latch on to these as concepts, just investigate for your own self What is the boundary of my being? Where can I send my attention? You see? And is that outside my being? Can I send my attention outside my being? You'll notice that attention is just traversing your own being, but this being doesn't have any boundary, no limitation. You see? So this being is that manifest aspect of the Absolute. Then the question I've been asking is, who is aware even of this being? You see? Who is aware of this being? This awareness that is aware of even this presence. You see? Who is that one? Is that I? And what are the attributes of this I? What is the quality of this I? Then you will discover this self, empty of all attributes, qualities, and yet undeniably yourself. It is I that is aware of my being. You see? I am aware of I am. So this perceptionless, conceptless recognition is called self-realization or self-recognition. So we go from the recognition of that non-existent one which we have taken ourselves to be as consciousness, we have taken ourselves to be personal, egoistic. Then we see that this being is all that is manifest. Everything is made up of this beingness. And then we find that which is aware, which is beyond even the quality of being and not being, the very primordial vibration. There is an awareness of even that. Good. Another tip I have for all of you and you is that don't write your curriculum anymore. Don't decide your curriculum. You know what it means, curriculum? Like syllabus. What else you got? Is it? Just come to satsang empty of all intention. Because your curriculum may be too limited for what actually could happen to you in satsang. Like you could decide just to take, I'm not picking on you or anything, I'm just saying just to take illustratively. Like you could decide that today I just want to see that how I don't exist. But actually God's plan could be much bigger. So just the best part about coming to satsang is that you don't have to decide anything. You are like on a full service holiday. You don't have to decide where to go sightseeing, what to do, what needs to happen. None of that is decided. Just completely open, completely empty, completely naked of any expectation. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Satguru Shri Ananta-Part ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.